So today is June 14th and we are nearing completion of a first draft of the game. Today's update, I'm going to be talking all about a deck builder user interface, which I've created. And this is awesome. I'm super pumped to show this. It has all kinds of potential to really improve the game. In particular, it's going to allow for card customization. So it adds a new layer of strategy and complexity that makes the game a lot more fun. And in addition to that, it allows for cosmetic upgrades. Now, my intent with this game is I always want it to be totally free to play. I want as many people to play it as possible and to enjoy it. But then I also want to create win-win scenarios that if there are people who want to spend a little bit of money on a cosmetic upgrade that hopefully is as far away from a microtransaction as possible, but allows them to sort of upgrade their decks in a visually stimulating way without impacting power or improving the actual game itself, I think that's great. I think that's a win-win scenario. So if you are coding a game and you want to look at how can you build a user interface, then this is the video for you. But before all that, there's a very important announcement from the head of the company that has to be issued first. Recently, it's come to our attention that the previous video featured an AI robot that many of you found extremely annoying. In particular, some of you enjoy listening to the videos on 2x speed since it goes by quicker. I know I like to do that with some of my favorite podcasts. But when you did so, it rendered the audio essentially unlistenable. Rest assured, the AI robot is dead and will never be making an appearance on this channel again. On a go-forward basis, we as a company at Raccoon will endeavor to ensure that the quality of our videos is stronger. And we hope that the audience can understand sometimes we take creative risks that don't always pan out, but you'll continue to support the project overall. Thank you for your understanding, and God bless. Okay, with that very important announcement out of the way, let's go ahead and load up the latest version of the game. So when you click on the campaign button, this will take you straight to the deck builder user interface, and here we are. Let me pause here really quick to make two observations regarding the artwork. The first is you'll see it's quite bare, and that's intentional because I think this further illustrates exactly what's going on from a coding perspective. It's a lot more simple. You're not getting lost in the sauce of really interesting visuals. So this is going to be a book that you're going to flip through the pages, but it's a lot clearer when I don't add in those assets. That's the first piece. And then the second piece is kind of funny, where I'm very aware that the artwork is mediocre, maybe even bad to some extent. I mean, it served its purpose and it comes from the original Kickstarter campaign, which I'm quite proud of, but like it's not great. And so the intent has always been to replace the artwork. What you see in all the demo videos, this is not going to be the final artwork. And I think going forward, I'm going to spend a lot more time really improving the cards to make it a lot more engaging of an experience. And so I've always sort of thought like, oh, I might as well just use the Kickstarter art when I'm doing some of these videos. Not really thinking that maybe it's a bit of a deterrent because I know I'm a total hypocrite on this point. Like when I'm on TikTok and I'm looking at other indie games or on YouTube, if the art's bad, I'm like, oh, I don't care how good the game is. I don't want to play this game. So I do realize it's the same. Like I don't hate the art and I'm never going to turn my back on it. It's served me so well. I'm very proud of it on one level for where I was when it was being created. But I'm also aware that like it needs to be improved and it's going to be improved. So this is not the final aesthetic. This is all just going to be placeholders for a much more polished game in the future. Okay, so with all that caveat and throat clearing aside, let's actually get into it. So as I said, this is a book and there's some cool features with it. So there's actually 3 tabs. There's a tab for card customization here, and then there's a tab for the card backs. And you'll see that underneath each of these buttons are little amounts of currency that relate here to the player profile. So you have gold, you're gonna have keys, and you're gonna have dragon eggs. These are 3 different variables. So if you wanna just pay 24 gold to load up a deck, boom, you click this button and you get 50 cards, this is the default deck. So anybody who supported the Kickstarter campaign, this is exactly the deck of cards that you were able to provide. Or that you got, sorry, in your Kickstarter deck, this is what you got. But I also want to make it so that you can customize other decks. Like what if there is an all water deck, for example? Or what if there's an all wine deck, for example? I didn't do an all poison deck because I'm still trying to think about how does that work if you can't score points? And maybe there's ways around it. But for right now, I'm just focusing on only having positive decks that you can still score points with. And you'll see that the money started with 100 and now it's down to 28. So that's really cool right in and of itself, that you can customize these pre-made decks. And having pre-made decks does allow for sort of a feature, a safety feature, where I can make sure that I'm not making overly powerful decks. Although I kind of like when decks are overpowered and broken, and I like, as a player, that experience of making a deck that's so broken that the game devs never saw it coming. So I want to leave room for that available too. So then, though, we have a custom tab. So you can clear this deck right away. And if you clear it, I've made it so that these are unlocked. You can still come back and bring it back. So you're never going to lose it. But then if you want to go to the custom deck, clear the deck. And these start off all initially locked and they're grayed out. But then when you pay the gold here, the gold goes to 0, the card becomes active. And now you can load as many of these up in your deck as possible. If you want to make a crazy spill deck, but let's say you want to make a crazy reveal deck as well. So it opens it up, makes it colorful, so you can see, okay, I have these two active. And again, in all cases, the gold is updating. The other cool feature is the deck does allow for removal. So I can just click these to remove these out, and it updates along the way. And every one of these can be unlocked, which is super cool. And then I also have ones that are just full unlocked. So there's actually 3 levels of locked. There's just locked, you can't even see it. There's locked that you haven't paid for it yet. And then there's totally unlocked. Which then brings us to the final tab here, which is the card backs. So you'll see these have their own unique currency that is dragon eggs. And I think at this stage, the intent of this currency is going to be, this will be the monetization aspect of the game. And I want to make sure I keep this distinct from gold. I still want players to be able to unlock card backs as part of the game, because that's a fun aspect. So it'll be a one-way street. So gold will be able to unlock eggs, but eggs will never be able to unlock gold. And so basically that's meant to limit the pay-to-win aspect of the game. Now, I know it's never a perfect distinction. I've heard other commentators, maybe most famously Asmongold, for those of you who know him, has made the argument that it's all pixel. So anytime you have any type of monetization on some level, that is pay to win. And even in a card game, if people want the coolest card backs, then that's an incentive, that's a part of the game to win. And I think there's some truth to that, but you know, it's the least good option except for all the others. And if you want to make a free game, then I think this is the fairest way to do it if you still want to have some element of revenue generation to try to make it a sustainable game that can be built on. And ideally, you know, you get a bit of a business going so you can build additional versions of the game. So that's how I'm going to handle it. I want to keep these distinct, but the way it works here is, so I have about 10 eggs and there's 15 eggs worth of currency here. So I can pick the top 2. I really like this red one, so I'm going to unlock this one, or the water one is pretty cool too. And you'll see that it updates right here in the, this is sort of like the player profile and the avatar. So it's kind of a cool incentive to upgrade visually the card that you're going to use. And so that is essentially the book. And so if we get to the final aspect then, so you customize your deck, and so maybe I'll just randomly add a whole bunch of other stuff, and then you customize your card back. Let's switch it. Let's go with the red sort of dragon egg one. And here's the moment of truth. Then when you click begin and you go into the world, you press D and boom, there you have it. There is the deck. And so when you now begin a game, it is drawing cards directly from this deck. And when you draw cards, it comes straight from it. And as the visual update, boom, there is that deck and it's fully interactable, this card back here. And then if you go back to the deck builder and you switch it back out, there's your remaining deck and all the currency is actually totally accurate and kept up. And the one thing to note here is the transition from this scene here to this scene here was actually fairly difficult to do. The cards are completely destroyed and then recreated. It gives the illusion that you're just carrying this around, but you're definitely not, and it took a long time to code. It's actually harder to code that than it was to code the currency, because these have to be like sort of parented or whatever. But yeah, that's essentially it. So I don't want to get too much in the details of the coding, but hopefully this is a very cool update. And you can see I'm right on the cusp now of finalizing the game. So I think this will essentially almost be the last update that I have before going into more sort of artistic upgrades and things like that. So yeah, this is the deck builder UI. Let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed it. Cheers.